From popular Los Angeles promenades boasting local legends telling of demonic forces and occult practices, to stunning Santa Monica state parks whose bounds are rumored to hold all manner of paranormal infestation, are you ready for the most haunted beaches in California? Number 5. Hermosa Beach. Hermosa is a beachfront city located in the South Bay region of Los Angeles County in California that boasts about 2 miles of sandy shoreline, and it's one of 3 beach cities spread throughout the South Bay area, officially as part of the Los Angeles Metro. The area holding Hermosa Beach was initially part of the 1784 Rancho Pedro, one of the first Spanish land grants in California, until in 1837, 10 miles of oceanfront was set aside for the creation of Rancho Sosol Redondo in a separate Mexican grant. In 1900, 1,500 acres of land was purchased from one A.E. Pomeroy, owner of the greater share of Rancho Sosol Redondo, by Sherman and Clark, who both organized and held controlling interests in Hermosa Beach land and water. In 1904, the first pier on site was constructed entirely of wood, and Hermosa Beach was officially incorporated in 1907. In 1913, the first pier was partially washed away and was torn down later, replaced by concrete and asphalt. Today, the beach is a prominent hotspot for both amateur and professional volleyball, beachgoers of all caliber, and offers a segment called The Strand, a wide boardwalk adjoining the much larger Marvin Broad bike trail. Both Hermosa Beach, the town, as well as the actual beachfront itself, has served as filming locations in a number of films and television productions, including Hard Bodies in 1984, Men at Work in 1990, Point Break in 1991, and many others. The most famous legend surrounding Hermosa tells that its shores are stalked by a fearsome half-human, half-fish creature that crawls from the waters after sundown to hunt under the cover of nightfall. Additionally, beachgoers have reported the unnerving feeling of being watched or followed from the darkness, and several have spoken of finding half-eaten marine life in the sands, or of catching this monster's silhouette in the backgrounds of their photographs. But these are just stories, right? Disturbingly, official reports tell of a handful of individuals over the years who have decided to use Hermosa for a night swim and have ended up returning with grievous bite wounds unidentifiable in pattern and size. In most instances, these maimings are so severe they require hospitalization. Number 4. Santa Monica State Beach. Santa Monica State Beach in western Los Angeles County in California is a state beach maintained and operated by the city of Santa Monica that boasts 3.5 miles of shoreline, along with the Santa Monica Pier and Carousel, which just so happens to be the only West Coast amusement pier still standing. The beach and surrounding area originally played home to the native Tongva peoples, with the first non-indigenous group to enter arriving in 1769 under the lead of Spanish soldier Gaspar de Portola, who ended up setting up camp very nearby. After the U.S. gained control of California in 1848, later through the 1870s, this same land was purchased by Colonel Robert S. Baker and John P. Jones, who hoped to develop a prosperous port city. The first town lots were auctioned off from 1875 and onward. The city of Santa Monica was officially incorporated in 1886, and just a year later, by 1887, an influx of new citizens launched a massive real estate boom. Our current pier was constructed in 1909, with the adjoining Pleasure Pier coming later in 1916. Following the Great Depression, tourism at the pier was halted, resulting in its near abandonment, and through the following decades, proposals would be made to tear it down entirely. Thanks to a collective community outcry, however, the pier was saved, and in 1996 it was reopened as a full-scale amusement park. Today, the beach and pier fall under the management of the city of Santa Monica in correlation with other California state parks, and offer a variety of opportunities for swimming, bodyboarding, fishing, surfing, cardio, and much more. Santa Monica State Beach is rumored to be haunted by a chilling specter, the ghost of a headless man who's been sighted roaming the beach, often near the restrooms. If you encounter this spirit, beware. Local legend tells he has been known to attack those who cross his path, grabbing the neck of and choking any who get too near. Also reported across the beach and not considered to be related to the headless specter are orbs captured in photographs, eerie voices carried on the wind when no one else is around, and the odd sounds of something being dragged through the sand. Many beachgoers describe the constant feeling of being watched, followed, or even brushed up against by someone or something unseen, and a number describe otherworldly outbursts of freezing cold air. Near the pier, a number of apparitions in old-fashioned attire as well as shadowy figures have been encountered, and employees report instances in which rides, lights, or music start on their own when the area is closed and empty. Lastly, several tales tell of full-bodied apparitions along the beach, those of beachgoers or surfers from long ago, that are there one moment and gone the next. Number 3. Baker Beach. Baker Beach, located just to the south of Golden Gate Point on the San Francisco Peninsula in California, is a public beach offering a mile of shoreline that's recognized as being the birthplace of the Burning Man Festival, as well as a popular stop to the clothing-optional crowds. The area that holds Baker Beach was first fortified in 1776 after New Spain established a presidio on the bay. Eventually, this land was passed to Mexico, who in turn passed it to the United States in 1848. Through the 1850s, the plot was settled by John Henry Baker, who established the Golden Gate Milk Ranch. Unfortunately, John passed on in 1863, and his widow Maria lost the property to foreclosure in 1879. In 1904, the Army would construct the Battery Chamberlain on Baker in an effort to protect the harbor's minefields. In 1986, the north end of the beach would serve as the original site of the Burning Man Arts Festival. Officially, Baker Beach would remain under the control of the U.S. Army until 1989, but as part of a widespread reduction program, its status as a military installation would come to an end. In 1994, the Presidio was acquired by the National Park Service and was merged into the Golden Gate National Recreation Area, which was established earlier in 1972. Today, Baker Beach remains a popular destination among anglers, sunbathers, sightseers, hikers, and beachgoers of all wakes. On a side note, large waves, freezing waters, undertow, and rip currents make entry into the waters itself unadvisable. Most notably, Baker Beach is rumored to be haunted by a ghostly woman who can be heard singing and laughing along the shoreline. Some tales tell her voice has hypnotic powers, that she's capable of luring those near into the ocean, and locals have even blamed her for several mysterious disappearances throughout the area. Others claim this ghostly woman isn't actually of human origins at all, and is, you guessed it, a siren from Greek mythology, a beautiful and deadly predator hunting far from home. Also reported at Baker Beach are a range of apparitions in old-fashioned clothing, shadowy figures sighted roaming about, orbs and photographs, and accounts of personal items going missing, only to turn up later in odd places. In 1853, the SS Tennessee sank in the strait in bad weather. Several have described sighting a ghostly ship matching her description from the shores of Baker, sailing past in heavy storms before vanishing into thin air. Lastly, in 1959, an 18-year-old male died in a shark attack. This remains the only fatal shark attack on record in the bay. To this day, many have reported encountering his spirit, seemingly in a trance, walking the shore briefly before disappearing into the waters. Number 2. Venice Beach. Venice Beach, located in the neighborhood of Venice in Los Angeles, California, is an area offering around 3 miles of coastline, 238 acres of beach, and a quirky and social promenade filled with odd shops and local attractions, stretching the length of it. Venice was initially founded in 1905 by one Abbot Kinney as a seaside resort called Venice of America. The catchy title and its reputation caused the area to grow rapidly in popularity, its population steadily growing. Sadly, when Kinney died in 1920, Venice became difficult to govern. The amusement pier burned just 6 weeks after his passing, and coupled with the onset of Prohibition, the city saw a massive decline in revenue. Fortunately, the Kinney family set to work rebuilding the pier, which by 1925 featured 3 roller coasters, several smaller rides, a funhouse, games, and more. Venice would remain an independent city until 1926, when political unrest, mostly due to poor roadways, water quality, sewage systems, and just plain conditions, would lead to a merger with Los Angeles. Unfortunately, by the 1950s, the area had picked up a bit of a negative reputation as the slum of the sea. Through the 1960s, efforts were launched to clean Venice, and simultaneously, the area would shed its negative stigma and earn a new reputation for housing and hosting alternative crowds. Venice Beach continues to accommodate millions of visitors annually and is recognized as a cultural hub and global tourist destination highlighted by its many eccentricities. The beach itself offers a recreation center, its iconic Muscle Beach, numerous volleyball courts, and much, much more. All across Venice, reports of supernatural happenings have emerged, with beachgoers reporting orbs and strange mists visible to the naked eye, sudden and inexplicable drops in temperature, and strange digging or burrowing noises from the sand when no one else is around. The full-bodied apparition of a male surfer from the 1960s has been sighted often in the same general area and has been known to interact with the living for a time before sadly fading into nothingness just as he touches the water. Reported across Venice Beach are a host of apparitions, namely of beachgoers clad in clothing spanning the ages, as well as the constant feeling of being watched, surrounded, or even brushed up against by a crowd unseen. Lastly, and possibly most horrifyingly, are reports of a grotesque, horned entity appearing demonic in origin that has been known to hunt, chase, and even attack those traveling the beach after dark. Many claim in an attempt to possess them. Disturbingly, several homeless locals have reported hearing this thing whisper in evil tongues throughout the night. Number 1. Will Rogers State Beach. Will Rogers State Beach on Santa Monica Bay in the Pacific Palisades neighborhood of Los Angeles, California, is a beach park that's shores extend 1 3/4 of a mile along the coast that's grown wildly in popularity as a prime surf spot and that takes its name from, you guessed it, renowned actor Will Rogers. In 1911, film director Thomas Ince created a Western film factory called Inceville, and in 1921, Reverend Charles H. Scott and the Southern California Methodist Episcopal Church would purchase that land necessary to develop Pacific Palisades. In 1922, Will Rogers would purchase a large piece of this land, developing it into a 300-acre ranch overlooking the ocean. Throughout the 1920s, Rogers worked the property, truly transforming it into a place where he could hang his hat luxuriously amongst his friends and family. Sadly, Will died in 1935 in a plane crash, his wife Betty surviving him until her death in 1944. The family land, including the entirety of the ranch grounds and beach property, were donated by the family for utilization as parklands. Today, the beach is owned by the California Department of Parks and Rec, but is managed and maintained by the Los Angeles County Department of Beaches and Harbors. A series of notable television productions have been filmed at Will Rogers, including Baywatch, until it was moved to Hawaii. As a nice bit of trivia for our travelers, this beach is noted as being significantly less crowded than other California beaches and is popular for swimming, sailing, sunbathing, and surfing, while also offering volleyball courts, a playground, and numerous picnic stops. Though it may sound like paradise, Will Rogers has picked up a handful of downright terrifying legends relating to its chilling hauntings, with beachgoers reporting disembodied voices carried on the waves, the constant feeling of being watched or followed by a presence unseen, and odd noises from the ocean that many claim are undescribable in human tones. Several reports detail the sounds of someone splashing in the waters when they're completely empty, and a number of apparitions in old-fashioned clothing, as well as shadowy figures, have been sighted roaming about. Reported all along the shores are orbs captured in photographs, strange mists and fogs that descend upon the area alone, and a general feeling of unease. Several more perturbing stories tell of beachgoers describing the feeling of icy hands grabbing at them, hitting them, scratching them, or even pulling at their hair. Lastly, the most famous tale to emerge from Will Rogers tells that after sundown, a ghostly woman can be seen walking the shoreline, donning a wedding dress. This woman is usually sighted sobbing with her face buried in her hands as she cries out about her fiancé who left her at the altar. Legend furthers to tell that should you encounter her, you might want to keep your distance, as, in the darkness, she may mistake you for the one who broke her trust and heart so long ago. Taking its long and fascinating history into consideration and coupling that with a ridiculously colorful slew of urban legends, ghost stories, and extreme paranormal infestations, Will Rogers State Beach was the logical pick in our minds as the most haunted shore in California. Thank you all for tuning in to our list of picks for the most haunted beaches in California. If you enjoyed hearing our histories and ghost stories as much as we enjoyed telling them to you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn notifications on so you know when fresh content is on the way. Throw us a like if you feel we've earned it, and most importantly, share this video and our channel with anyone you think deserves a good scare. We'll see you all next time.